When you hear the phrase algorithm design, your mind probably jumps to crazy, complex code and, abstract math. But really, it's about something way more fundamental. It's a way of thinking. It's about building a mental toolkit to tackle all those messy, real-world problems that just don't have a simple instruction manual.
So that brings us to the big question, right? In school, textbooks give us these neat, clean problems with perfect answers. But the real world, it just doesn't work that way. So how do you make that leap from those simple examples to the genuinely complicated stuff you face every day?
Okay, so you're staring at some huge, messy problem. Where do you even start? The temptation is to just dive in and start coding or, doing something. But the first and most critical step is actually to just stop and build a model. You've got to boil all that chaos down into a simpler structure, figure out what actually matters and what's just noise. That's how you get a clear map of the problem you're really trying to solve.
And this comparison really gets to the heart of it. Textbook problems, they're clean. They're designed to teach you one specific thing. But real-world problems are just messy. You've got conflicting goals, you're missing information, and you usually have to mix and match different techniques to find something that actually, truly works.
All right, so you've got your model, but what happens when that model shows you that the problem is just massive? I mean, how on earth do you even begin to tackle something that has millions or even billions of moving parts?
Well, the answer is a classic strategy, and it's called divide and conquer. The idea is incredibly simple. You don't try to climb the whole mountain in one go. Instead, you break it down into a bunch of smaller, more manageable hills. You solve each one of those, and before you know it, you've conquered the whole thing way faster and more efficiently.
The process itself is super intuitive when you see it laid out. You start with that big, scary problem. Then, you just systematically split it into smaller, independent chunks. You solve each of those little pieces, and then you just put the answers back together. And just like that, what seemed impossible is suddenly totally doable.
A perfect real-world example is something like a binary search. Imagine you're looking for one specific record in a giant sorted database. You're not going to check every single entry one by one, right? No way. You split it in half, see which side your target is on, and you just toss the other half out. You keep doing that, dividing and conquering, until you've zeroed in on the exact thing you need in just a fraction of the time.
Breaking things down is super powerful, but it kind of makes you wonder, is there an even faster way? A shortcut maybe? What if you didn't have to look at all the pieces and could just take the best-looking path at every single turn?
Which leads us to a really fun question. Is it ever a good idea to just be greedy? Now, in everyday life, that word has some not-so-great connotations. But in the world of algorithms, being greedy means something very specific, and sometimes it's an absolutely brilliant strategy.
So a greedy algorithm doesn't really worry about the grand, long-term strategy. At every single decision point, it just asks, what is the absolute best move I can make right now? The hope, or the gamble really, is that a whole series of these perfect little local decisions will eventually add up to a great overall solution.
But, and this is a big but, there's a major trade-off. On the one hand, greedy algorithms are fast. They're simple. But the downside? Because they only focus on what's right in front of them, they can totally miss the actual best solution overall. Still, they're fantastic for getting a good enough answer and getting it incredibly fast.
Okay, so we have strategies for big problems and for fast problems. But what about the truly impossible problems? What do you do when finding the perfect 100% optimal answer would literally take like 100 years of computer time?
That is when you turn to heuristics. A heuristic is basically an educated guess. It's a smart shortcut, a rule of thumb. It's designed to guide you toward a solution that's good enough when a perfect one is just completely out of reach. It's really all about embracing a little imperfection to get a result that's actually useful.
A perfect example of this is in pathfinding. Think about how a GPS figures out the best route. A lot of them use an algorithm called A*, and its brain is this powerful heuristic, all captured in this simple-looking equation. This is how it decides which roads look the most promising to check out next.
Let's just break this down really quick, because it's not as scary as it looks. Imagine you're on a road trip. G of n is how far you've already driven. That's a fact. H of n is your heuristic, your best guess of how much farther you have to go. The algorithm just adds them together to get f of n, which is its total estimated cost for that particular route. And it's constantly doing this for all the different options to find the one that looks like the best bet.
So there you have it. Modeling, divide and conquer, the greedy approach, and heuristics. These aren't just for software engineers.
They're a mental toolkit for anybody who's facing a complex challenge. So the real question is, which of your big problems could use one of these strategies? Could it be modeled or broken down, or maybe just solved with a quick, greedy approach?
And that's our look into the art of algorithm design. If you found this helpful, do me a favor and hit those like and subscribe buttons. Feel free to share it with anyone else you know who loves to solve a good problem. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.